Okay, we're back.
Hi.
It's been a while.
A minute.
Life happened.
That's our excuse. Life happens.
Life happens. So what are we talking about today?
I have no idea.
No
What's
clue.
been on your mind?
There's been a lot on my mind. A lot.
Like always.
Yes.
Alright. What's the most recent right now? What are you going through?
A lot.
Just unload it on me. Go ahead, just tell me what are your problems?
Not problems. I'm not gonna say problems.
Okay.
But
What are you
growing pains? Is that what it is? Like, you grow and it hurts a little, it hurts to grow.
Okay.
To stretch, not
Okay.
problems, growing pains.
Okay. Growing pains. Alright, what are your growing pains?
Leadership.
Oh.
And the roles they play.
Elaborate.
Okay, elaborate. So, leadership.
Yes. What about it?
It's nice. It is nice.
It's nice to have, or it's nice to be in?
Both. I think everybody kind of plays a leadership role in their own aspect.
Okay.
And sometimes it's hard to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You're buffering. I don't know why you're buffering.
I'm trying to take it in and see what you mean.
There's leadership in a lot of aspects at work, in church, and our home, and the family. There's just, different roles that everybody plays. Our cat is going absolutely wild right now. There's roles that people play at different positions, and it's easy to get your head mixed up in it.
Okay.
And when I say leadership and growing pains, sometimes you look up to people, and when the expectations don't hold, you can kind of come crashing down.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of one of those things that I'm learning as we go. And I'm not talking anything specific. I don't want people to get their heads all crazy. I'm just saying that sometimes we look up so much.
And I don't think it's always just leadership. I feel like it could be like a role model.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, people in that...
someone you look up to.
Yeah, not necessarily in a leader role.
Yes.
But someone you hold high.
Yes.
Someone you hold up.
I know what you mean. Yes.
That's what I should have said. I mean, that's what we should... Role models. Yes. And how they... see, better title. So, yes. It's kind of one of those things, and, it's one of those things that you run into a lot. Mm-hmm. And your role models might not be mine. Yes. And mine may not be yours.
And sometimes our own role models should not be role models.
Yes. And so that's kind of what...
Okay, I get it now.
Has been on my mind. Okay. Lately. Yes. A lot of the times, well, sometimes, I'll say, we put people on pedestals, and when they falter, or when they fail, or when they mess up,
we can't unsee it.
Yes. Yes. And to be honest, we really shouldn't be looking at them that way in the first place. We have someone, a perfect...
They're not... We think they're perfect, and we paint them to be this... And it's not even that they put themselves in that position, or it's not that they make themselves be the perfect example. It's just that we see them as the perfect example. We put them on that pedestal. And then when they do fall, they make mistakes all the time, but when it's a mistake that we get to see or that is brought up to light, it affects us.
Yes. And it shouldn't.
And it shouldn't.
But
but it does sometimes. And I think that I don't know if there's, I don't know how to say it, because I mean, with God we can do what all we can do all, but sometimes our flesh just, not sometimes, all the time, just kind of gets the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way to say it?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
depends on how the sentence ends.
we sometimes we can't. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I'm just gonna explain it how I think.
Give it to us.
Okay. At least for myself.
Okay.
Like, it's hard not to see someone and not feel like either they're doing so great and start seeing them as a role model, or they're not and be judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's a battle that you have.
Mm-hmm.
At least for myself, and I know that's something that I've been working on lately, because it's happened. At least it's happened to me. You know, I have to start seeing past the perfect person that I want to see, and just actually just, focus on Jesus and loving.
Yes.
Whether it's flaws or not.
And I think that's something that I guess I was having trouble with, is that sometimes I hold people in high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to be honest, sooner or later they're gonna mess up. Same as me.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not as much as I do, but sooner or later they're gonna mess up. And when it comes to that, it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it makes you question everything, but it kind of makes you rethink the situation. And what you've done and decisions you've made based on the respect or the statue you've held for certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something, it's easy. Okay, it's easy. I'll say, in the leadership roles I've been in different cases, it's easy to tell people what they should or shouldn't be doing. What you would do, or what you would do differently, or how you would do it. It's easy to lay it down, and it's easy to nitpick people for maybe what they're not doing to my standard. Just in my little roles that I play. But at the same time, for people that are above me or over me in whatever field or whatever way, it's easy to pick them apart because they're not 100% every day. And
I think it's also a big reason as to why we do it is we start using that as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And once we start seeing them and their flaws, we make it an excuse. Well, so and so does it, or, well, at least I'm not like them.
Mm-hmm.
So we start comparing.
Yes.
And then the judging comes in, and then you start, what's the word? Justifying yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you're living, because at least you're not like them.
Yes.
And
so that's kind of where this was coming from, is that as I've grown and as I've learned more, I understand more now that I don't need to be like anyone else, or I don't need to hold people's traditions, or there's a lot of good advice, a lot of stuff that maybe we should stay away from, or stuff that we've learned from role models. There's a lot of good lessons.
Yeah.
But the one I need to keep my eyes on is Jesus. And as I walk this walk, coming in, because I can see people right here, right now, just like at work, I see them and I see what they're doing. So maybe sometimes I try to copy, or do do the same thing. And as I go, I figure out, hey, maybe there's a quicker way to do this. Maybe there's a more efficient way. And it's turning true for all walks in life. And I'll talk about church. I came into church and there was a lot of good lessons. A lot of people did a lot of things that helped them get to where they are today. But it's not what I need to hold myself to. What
That's
I need
not
to,
your walk.
yeah, what I need to pay attention to is what Jesus has called me to do and how He's asked me to walk. And sometimes you see discrepancies there. Sometimes there is stuff that's not, and it's growing pains. You learn to grow, but it
But like they say, you take what you need
mm-hmm.
and what brings you back to Jesus, and you just throw everything else away.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was
Not everything is for you.
And then another thing.
Oh, that wasn't it?
No, that's not it.
What else you got for me?
Parenthood.
Oh Lord.
This stuff is not as easy as my parents made it seem.
Nothing is as easy as parents made it, kids.
No, I guess not. And there's a lot of stuff happening around and with our kids nowadays that
it's scary.
Makes it a little nerve wracking.
Yes.
To say the least. And I'll put an example out there, okay, but don't hate me, okay? It's just an example of what happened in our current life today. There's a minister from a separate church, not, and I'm not gonna name no names, but a minister, a teacher, and a student, and they went before the city here, and they pleaded their case, I guess, to make June Pride Month.
Mm.
And whatever, however people live their lives, whatever. I don't agree with everything people do, but your life, live it
how you want to live it.
Yeah, because sooner or later, you're going to die and you might as well be happy with the way you lived. It is what it is. Not everyone's going to believe the way I believe. I'm not going to believe the way everyone believes.
Yeah.
If you want help on your walk with Jesus, we're here. But if not, you do you, boo, right? That's what they say.
Yeah, you do you, boo.
Okay. But they did that, and come to find out, there's an alliance or something at the high school, for the LGBTQ plus period exclamation. I can't keep up with all the acronyms.
Yes.
And there's just different stuff. There's been cases of people pushing stuff, and it's hard to keep kids away from that. But that's not.
And it's not. We're not judging, and it's their life, whatever they want to do with it. But it kind of just makes us nerve-wracking when it starts involving our children.
Yes.
Once they're adults, once they're grown, and that's something they want to explore, if that is up to them. But they're children. That is not something
but
they need to be
I was thinking
exposed
to today, right? And this is where
we were talking, yeah.
This is where it was after that, but it kind of hit me a little bit,
Okay.
And I was thinking about it, and this is the offense we can see, and we take big objection to it. It includes our kids, and we're really kind of nervous about it, but it's still just. I'm gonna say it, and people, it's still just sin that's getting pushed into, kind of, like they're around it, and everybody's saying it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it today, and I was thinking, how many ways have I influenced my kids to sin in other ways without even realizing what environments I was putting them in? Because it's that you know the gays and whatever. It to us that's what we call it, and we don't want our kids to be around it. But there's also lust or envy or hatred or you know how many times have maybe my kids been at the dinner table and I've talked about somebody I shouldn't have. Yeah. You know, or I've created an environment to hate or to I want this or that, and I've created an environment for them to want or to covet or to be proud for, or you know something, and it kind of made me rethink the way I parent. You know, because I can see this going on in the school, and I get real up in flames about it. And you know, it is what it is. You know, whatever decisions we make on that, it is what it is. But have I contributed to that? You know, there's a lot of ways we can go. I've seen it like that about life, but even though I'm up in flames about this particular sin or wrongdoing or whatever, what's going on here? You know, in my home, and it kind of goes back to the leadership. You know, I can nitpick what someone else is doing, but how is it going on right here? You know, these people here, and you know, God help them. You know, they're trying to teach thousands of kids, and they're trying to be in a neutral environment that's welcoming to all kids. And I get it, I understand it. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Everybody wants to be their own person. Kids are impressionable. You know, at that age, you could tell them the sky is green and the water is lava. And if you tell them long enough, they'll believe it. You know, but how have I been setting here at the house? You know, or wherever I am. You know, it's, and I don't know, it was on my mind today, and we were talking about it before church, and I had said something about it. They're like, yeah, you know, they're, you know, just like the government. You know, sometimes we talk about government, and Christians can get up in arms about the government. I think anybody right now gets up in that. We can. Well, they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're this and they're that, but how are our houses? You know, we are supposed to be a Christian home who cherish and love and try our best to put the Word of God to practice, but at the end of the day, you know, are we living it? Yes, exactly. We hold people to certain standards, and we hold them to values and morals that because they're not doing it, but we're not doing them either. We just don't show it. You know, and that's kind of what I was thinking about today, because I was up in arms. I was ready to blow up, because they wanted a pride month. You know, and how does that bother me? It doesn't affect us. Really, and but I'm here disobeying Word of God. You know, not listening to Jesus the way I should be. Why am I not mad at myself? We're exactly the same at that point. Yeah. You know, I know I'm not doing right. Why am I looking over there instead of here? Sin is sin. Exactly. And so that's no matter the level of it, no matter how small or how big, it's all the same. And that's where I was, where you know, just parenthood. I don't know. That's kind of what was on my mind today a little bit. You have a lot on your mind. There's a lot more. Should we go through it? No. No, you did not. We'll go one more, okay? Let's keep your demons inside. We'll go one more, okay? Not realizing the true extent of God's power. Oh. Yeah. We talked about that. We had talked about it before. I remember. Oh, well. Whenever you bring that up, it reminds me of the night we were at JP's and Amanda's. And we were playing that game. Would you rather? Would you rather?
It reminds me of of those scenarios. Like, you know, what God does and how he helps us, and sometimes we just look past what he's done for us.
Mm-hmm.
We just say God helped us, and thank God he got me through, but we don't really look at what he did.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
just know that we made it to the other side.
Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking about this, right? And I was going over it. And my mind is a little crazy. Okay, we all know that.
Not a little.
It's a lot crazy.
The voices.
But I was thinking about it, right? And
Yes.
and people come to church and they hear God can help you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, the big problems, right, are alcoholism or drug abuse or you know stuff you might be addicted to, a perverse mind or whatever. And we get into church and God changes our minds and our hearts, and we say, God help me. I was an alcoholic. I'm not one any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. But once we get into church, we understood he helped us change that, but we don't understand how sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And we miss what he really did. And I feel like sometimes that leaves us lacking because we don't understand what God can really do. I've said this, I've been saying, and maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's just the way my dumb mind works. But it wasn't alcohol that was the problem. It was what was in here.
Okay.
It was never drugs, or it was never, what was on your phone. It was what was in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put an example here, okay? Uh, um, Drinking, okay? There's a lot of ideas and opinions about it. It wasn't that I enjoyed it so much. Maybe that's the wrong topic.
Are you
I'm trying to get it out.
It's not really.
Like, I'll put it this
You
way.
can't. You focus on that he.
I'll put it this way, okay?
I kind of get what you're saying.
It wasn't the food that made me this size. Okay?
Uh-huh.
It was my want to eat.
Yes.
And my lack of willpower to stop.
Okay, so it's really not the fact that he saved you and you don't drink no more. He saved you from alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
Alcoholism?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he saved you from the drinking.
Mm-hmm.
In reality,
there was something more behind it.
He filled that void.
Exactly.
He filled that void that you were trying to fill. That emptiness that you were trying to fill with your addictions.
Yes.
With your lust, your envy, your anger. And he filled it with love.
He didn't take the food away from me. He changed my desire to want to eat.
He gave you what you actually needed.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I was thinking. And maybe, if he healed you from alcoholism, he did it. And if it's holding you, then that's what it is. But there's spiritual behind it.
Yes.
It's not just the face. He changed what I wanted, what I loved, what I thought. It's not
always just that he takes something physical from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying. Like for me, I had a lot of heartbroken. I had a lot of anger, resentment. I had a lot of pride. I had a lot of that. And I was holding on to that because I didn't want to feel anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're vulnerable and you love people, you get hurt. So if I just hold on to all this judging and all this anger and all this resentment, then none of that will bother me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then when God actually saved me and Jesus came into my life, I didn't need that anymore. Because I had him, and no matter what happened, I still felt that love.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying.
See, like me, okay, I drank and I smoked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason behind it was I wasn't really happy with who I was as a person.
Trying to be.
Yeah, and so I a lot of it I tried to be different. I tried to alter my reality, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to hide it behind it. You know, when I would do those things, I wouldn't feel who I was anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't feel it. That unhappiness or the anger or the bitterness inside me would go away. And I was happy in that state of dysphoria, I guess you'd call it. And it came to the point that if I wasn't, intoxicated or under the influence or whatever, I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't comfortable with who I was. And with God coming into my life, the smokes are still there in the store. The
alcohol is still there.
The drug dealer is right down the street. It was never the item. It was what was in here. And sometimes we get away from that, but what was in here never changed, and it fixates on something else. That anger, that lust or envy or whatever, it changes from this to this.
We go from one addiction to another.
Yes, because we don't really understand that God can help what's in here. And that was kind of something that was on my mind, and that's a perfect example. It wasn't the food; it was me eating it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
And it still is. Still is.
No, you're working on it. This is your day one.
I am working on it. I didn't get it today. I drank nothing but water today.
Now we get to hold them accountable because we've made it public.
Look, guys, it's been public 20 times. I tried. Okay? But the food comes out, and your boy's like a vacuum. Right? It just happens. I got the girl already. No, but yeah, it's a problem. It's an addiction. See, one addiction to another. I got to figure out that God can really help this.
And then, yeah, my unit.
Should we go for another one?
No.
No, we're going for another one. You ready for it?
Chris, we're at 30 minutes.
That's okay.
Wow. Go ahead. I've been trying to think of what's been on my mind lately, but...
The fight and the struggle we give sometimes. Okay, and I'm going to put it into terms here.
What do you mean?
Wait,
with whom?
Hold on for a second. Okay, okay, we hear stuff in church, right?
Okay.
God's going to say to the ones on the right, when I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink.
Yes.
When I was naked, you clothed me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the fight. Spiritual or natural. And some people will say, well, it's natural. And they'll say, how am I supposed to do it spiritual? And then they'll say, well, it's spiritual. You're not going to go and, why are we worried about that? Whether it's spiritual or natural.
Because...
Why can't we just do both?
Because it's not easy for a lot of people.
Why can't... No, but what I'm saying is why the fight over it? Like, if I can... Like, if God sends me somebody, right?
Okay.
And we'll talk spiritually first. And they're hungry. They need a piece of God in their life to survive. I can give it.
Yeah.
I can help. If they're thirsty, if they need a quench, if life has been hard, if it's been hot out there, and they're just thirsty, they've been working and they're just thirsty, I can give them a drink of water.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been taught, and
yes,
that's what came out.
Hold on. If they're naked, right? If they need hey, Jesus can help you. I can clothe, right?
Yeah.
I can do it naturally too. If they're hungry, come on, let's eat. They're thirsty. Why the? I'm
Why
not
do
talking.
we put up a fight?
Yeah.
Why do we
Yes. I'm not. I'm not talking here or there anywhere. Okay, this is just personal, right here in my mind.
why we
Why
personally
I?
decide
I'm gonna say
this is
I
spiritual?
because this is our life. See why? Okay, this isn't talking about nobody else. No messages. This is me. What
Yes.
fights in my head right now? Why am I worried about whether it's spiritual?
I think
should
it's
just
I think it's
do it.
because it's an excuse that we sometimes put up. It's to justify ourselves. We don't want to help physically because we want it for ourselves.
Mhm.
So let's just do it spiritually.
Like I'm gonna tell you this.
Let me pray for you and pray that God helps you, and I've done my part.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, guys. Okay, I got water and tea
and coffee.
I got beans and rice.
Coffee.
And I got some clothes.
You have a whole wardrobe that doesn't.
But they big. Okay, so just know if oversized shirts are your thing, I got you. No, but it is something that goes on in my head here that sometimes we're so worried about whether something is spiritual or natural, and if we just and I was thinking about it because I was thinking about uh, that among other things, and sometimes it's hard.
I love how your brain works.
It's hard for us sometimes just to say I do them both, and we're so worried about it all
As
the
we
time.
should, yes.
And sometimes it's just, man, just be good. Just do good in whatever way you can. You know what? Maybe they are on fire in the church, and maybe they're doing better than you are, and maybe they're a little down on their luck. Give them a bowl of beans. It is what. That's all I got, guys. I ain't got nothing else. But
Stop.
that's what I got.
You got more than just beans.
That's all I'm willing to give.
And we go back to as to why.
No, but mi casa is su casa. You know what I mean? Like it just that's what it should be.
It is.
And sometimes we got this fight going on about what's what, and just yeah, it. If I okay, I'll say this. Okay, I'll spread on this. We're gonna end here soon. Okay, but if I believe that God has given to me what I have, why can I not give it? If I really believe God has blessed me and He's taking care of me, and I believe that I'm following His word and doing for others, why can't I? Why am I worried about whether I'll get it back or not? Why am I worried about what tomorrow's gonna hold?
Flesh.
It's one of those things that, and I get caught up on this, and I'm talking about it because I don't know, maybe someone out there does too. But if I really believe God has blessed me, why am I not ready to give? If I know He'll give me, and that's just something that's really bothering me. But anyways, that's it. That's all. That's all the peep into Chris's brain I'll get tonight. Okay, sound good? Anything else to say?
No, you kind of just ended it there. So no,
that was final for Chris.
All of my thoughts flush when you just ended it.
Wow, look at that. We're one. I end it. She goes blank. Nothing else?
No, I was just thinking about what you were saying in that last part as to why. And it just hits me, because I do feel like sometimes it's just us trying to justify ourselves. We get a little bit more on your paycheck, and the first thing that comes to your mind is
Ben stores.
How you gonna do me like that? But yeah, let's say that the bin stores, or hey, let's go out, let's go have a nice steak. And
Jesus didn't eat no steak.
And then you see someone at church and they're in need, in physical need, like they're struggling, and you just had it, but now you're just, I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we just
I'll pray that God will open the doors for you.
And he had already opened them when he gave you a little extra.
And he was trying to open them through you.
Yeah.
Wow, where's the wisdom there? I like it. Anything else? Or...
No, you make me nervous.
I like this. I'm digging it right now.
What are you digging?
You? Jesus? Not gas prices. Anyways. So, y'all can like, share, subscribe.
Or not.
Our lives.
You can even dislike the video. There's a thumbs down button if you want.
Just no mean comments, okay? Because I hate to put my salvation on the side to ask you.
Stop. You should not be putting Jesus on no shelf.
Okay, I'm going on the shelf with him. The shelf's gonna break. Anyways,
just turn the other cheek. Just turn the other cheek.
We love y'all. All right, bye.
Bye.